The ocean levels have risen so much that this is now buried by water. It's completely unusable.
I've just arrived in this capital city, and it's sinking fast.
This would all be submerged underwater.
This is Jakarta, Indonesia.
Sinking. Jakarta is sinking. Good question.
And some parts of it are sinking up to 11 inches per year.
I heard that it keeps sinking, and of course there's like this fear that part of Jakarta, or maybe perhaps it could be all, that it will be underwater.
In fact, Jakarta is one of the world's fastest disappearing cities. According to the World Bank, this country is highly vulnerable to climate change.
I'm worried about Jakarta, of course. It's the place that I live.
1/3 of the city could be underwater by 2050.
We work in Jakarta, so it's the Jakarta sing. So we cannot work.
40% of the city is below sea level, and millions could be displaced.
Including the metropolitan area, you're talking about a city of 33 million people. People who are living here, it makes you wonder, like, where will they go?
But it isn't just rising sea levels causing all of this. Massive new buildings combined with digging into the land for water is causing the land to sink fast.
People keep pumping the water, right? So the land goes down.
It makes the ground go lower, right? Because of the weight of these structures and things like that. So from what I've read, yes, I think so.
Now combine all that with massive overpopulation as millions of Indonesians move to this city for better opportunities.
They come to Jakarta to build new life.
Indonesia is the world's 4th most populous country, and it has the 16th largest economy. Its government is now taking drastic measures, like moving its capital city to another island.
Moving at Borneo may be unpredictable.
Because you're gonna kill all the forests in Borneo to make another city.
Are you excited?
No, traffic light everywhere.
And pollution. I just met this family that is flying to Borneo for the first time because they're excited that it's going to be the new capital city.
I'm here to understand what happens when a massive capital city is literally sinking.
So the military police came, told us we can't film here, which just sucks because I was about to use our drone to really understand how the mosque in that area was submerged underwater.
All of this is happening as the country tries to position itself as a world power.
What I hope happens is somehow we can find a way to at least stop the sinking.
Of course, I'm worried, and it's gonna influence also the investment scene in Jakarta.
Remember, investors like certainty. So when the future of this city, this massive hub, is dependent on the environment, well, that's a bit scary.
But why is it sinking so fast?
The ocean that's behind me is rising at about 25 centimeters per year.
And what happens next?
Maybe we can learn from like Singapore.
It's too late for us if we don't do something. I think we have much time from now to protect Jakarta. It is too late if you wait.
This city has a population of about 11 million people, but that's just the city itself. Take the surrounding area, the metropolitan area, and now you're looking at about 33 million people. I mean, that's bigger than most countries.
Its population has tripled in the past 40 years, but why?
Jakarta is seen kind of like a New York City or Los Angeles or San Francisco. It's where people come to seek opportunities. They move here with big dreams, they want to make more money, they want to advance their careers, they want a better quality of life. So the demand to live in Jakarta has been very high and continues to be very high because Jakarta is a sign for many Indonesians, millions of Indonesians, of a better life.
Today, 2/3 of Indonesia's banking and economic activity is here in Jakarta. Fast forward to today, where it's now causing a lot of problems.
This city has some of the worst traffic in the world. It's said that the average person living here will be sitting in traffic for the equivalent of 22 days a year. I mean, just look behind me right now. This city grew faster than it could really handle, and a consequence of that, pollution.
This city is now struggling under massive environmental burden. But rising sea levels are a global problem, so why are things so much worse here?
One of like the main issue is because we keep using the water from the ground, right? Even though it's sinking, we haven't really changed much about that, and that is really concerning.
There is an excessive use of water wells. See, people and companies dig below ground for fresh groundwater for drinking and bathing, which is only making the problem worse. Regulations here are loose. Private citizens or large malls are extracting fresh water from the ground, saying this is something they need to do, and the government, well, can't really stop them.
Or they just don't think about the compounding factor. Like maybe they heard like, oh, it's sinking 1 or 2 centimeters, and it might think like, oh, that doesn't matter that much. But if you multiply it, and it might get more and more per year, it can get pretty bad pretty quickly.
60% of the country's population is on this island called Java. And now the government says that the solution is to move the capital from Jakarta to Borneo, which is on another island called Kalimantan.
We can predict, it says it happens in 50 years, but no one knows if it can happen in 10 years with our climate and things like that. Because the ocean's also rising. If things are sinking, ocean's rising, double the factors, so.
Just about 10 miles north of this area of where I'm standing now, things look so much different. Not only is the living standard a lot lower, but there's a much bigger problem.
I'm standing in an area that used to be land. It was a port, there was a mosque. This place represented trade, business, jobs. Today, it's all underwater.
It really feels like this abandoned area. It's such an eerie feeling to stand here, knowing that the ocean behind that wall is rising at really fast rates to the point where the future of this is uncertain. Oh, it smells really bad here. It's one thing for there to be poverty, but there's also so much uncertainty because this could all be submerged underwater, and people who are living here, it makes you wonder, like, where will they go?
The government has built seawalls with the promise to protect villages from flooding.
You can see the seawall is already cracking. It's really not in great condition, and it makes you wonder how long it's going to last. First of all, because it's not that sturdy, and second of all, because obviously water and ocean rising can only do so much. But as of now, this seawall is pretty much the only thing that's protecting the ocean from this village. Crazy, it's almost as if they're prepared. They're prepared for what's to come, at least bit by bit, for the ocean levels to rise so much here that all of this, including the wall, become totally submerged underwater. It's absolutely crazy. I think people have already started to move back because sometimes the ocean water is already coming into this area. But when you look about these houses behind me and these people living right here in this village, it makes you wonder, in 5-10 years, will their houses be here?
Shortly after we arrive, we are told that we're not allowed to film here. A few minutes of walking, and I find this fishing village.
I'm now at this fishing village, and I'm curious what exactly it's like because it is so close to the sea.
Ya khawatir. Tapi kan sekarang udah mendingan tuh, udah ada tembok begitu kan udah nggak seberapa itu lagi. Ya khawatir. Ya setiap itu, kayaknya setiap hari waktu belum dindingnya tinggi itu. Belum kuat ya, sering pokoknya. Kalau pagi-pagi udah banjir gitu.
Nah, kalau misalnya kita tinggal begini mau di mana kita, insya Allah sih pemerintah bisa membantu kali ini.
So just look at my location. I'm in between this little bay and the ocean. It's kind of like the land that I'm on is kind of like a peninsula. There are a lot of opportunities for seawater to come in, which it does. It does come into this area. And, it kind of, from the perspective of where I'm standing and the reports I'm seeing, it's almost like this little piece of land is fighting against the ocean. According to the locals, this area gets flooded. It used to get flooded by the sea. Even though I'm not exactly super close to the ocean, this seawater used to make its way into this area and literally was able to flood their homes. If you look now, you can actually see a lot of the homes have risen a bit, but there's two types of flooding that happens here. The first was seawater, which one local tells me that's actually improved. That wall that I showed you has actually helped to prevent seawater from coming into their homes. The second type of flooding is rainwater. And they said sometimes they get so much rain that can go up to her knee. The rainwater will actually stay here for up to 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks where they're pretty much unable to leave their home because they're kind of stranded due to the flooding. And that's an irrigation issue. There's not any form of irrigation where the water that comes can actually recede into. But it's super interesting and super fascinating. A lot of people that I talk to, they don't know the solution. Some of them are worried. They say it is what it is. Others are hopeful. They say, no, it's actually gotten better the past few years. The wall is helping. They don't seem actually that concerned. And with rising water levels and water that comes into their homes, it makes sense. Pretty much every home you see has been lifted, has been raised, so that when the flooding does occur, it doesn't actually seep into their home.
But something interesting is happening. See, I thought this village might feel like they are in a crisis, but the opposite seems to be the case.
People here actually seem really happy. I just stumbled upon this like fashion show catwalk thing that they're doing. Everyone is like laughing so much, smiling so much, dancing. People here are really happy. This is their form of entertainment here in this village. It's just to blast music. Everyone calls someone's name and they walk down and wave, kind of like a catwalk thing. It's really beautiful, it's really pure.
Indonesia is poised to be one of the fastest growing economies in the coming decade, and it's hosting the G20, a meeting of the 20 most powerful nations.
Hosting the G20 is a really big deal for Indonesia because it wants to cement itself as a global power. It wants to be up there with the US, with China, with India. It has a strong economy, it has a growing economy, and it has a massive population. But all of a sudden, when investors hear that Jakarta is sinking, it makes them a little bit less likely to want to put their money here, right?
Now the Indonesian government focus is to improve human capital. So we're trying to be relying so much on natural resources because we have a lot of natural resources. So that can be a blessing, but that can be also a source of potential conflict in the future, right? That's why I think it's better if the government should focus on improving the human capital, which they have been doing it, shifting from commodity-based economy to service-based economy.
It's interesting coming here from the US because in the US, oceanfront property is always the most expensive. It's where the millionaires, billionaires, and celebrities live. But one thing I've noticed being in Indonesia is that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes it's the opposite. The oceanfront has not been like the most luxury, relaxing place that people live. And it's crazy to be in a small little village like this that is so close to the ocean because historically, coming from a place like the US, this would have been built up commercially as, beaches or oceanfront living. This is a massive shopping complex, shopping malls. You have Louis Vuitton over there. You have Mandarin Oriental over here. This is called Grand Indonesia. The mall was only opened about 15 years ago, and you could see a lot of that development taking place with more skyscrapers, more malls like this being planned.
But sometimes I find myself asking, why are not more people talking about this here?
Fishermen and things like that, which might not have wealth, so it's not really the priority. Most of the richest in Jakarta tend to live in the south side, Jakarta Selatan. And so perhaps that's why it's not really the central focus. And as well as the government bodies and things like that are not near the ocean as well.
But what is the solution?
The long-term and most sustainable solution is to spread economic development beyond Jakarta. So not only in Jakarta. People don't have to migrate to Jakarta to make their life better. So they can stay at their home, they can stay in their town, their village. And if the economic development is spread out, and even in rural area, if the economic growth is better, I think naturally, in the long run, people don't need to come to a big city like Jakarta.
If Indonesia wants to continue to grow, it will need companies to invest here.
In terms of environment, if let's say the climate change slowing down, obviously it's gonna be influential in a positive way to Jakarta because people will not say Jakarta is sinking.
Why would you invest in a place that the landmass is actually shrinking, where there is so much uncertainty? That can actually really scare a lot of investors and a lot of potential, and it could even be a big barrier to the future of Indonesia's economy.
Indonesia's plan to move its capital to another island is facing major criticism by environmental groups. See, Borneo is largely known for its jungles and wildlife, such as orangutans, but add $34 billion worth of construction, and you can see why it's a cause for concern.
But
Do you think it's a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea. Because you're gonna kill all the forest in Borneo to make another city. You're gonna destroy another island.
Honestly, I have mixed feelings about it. We're sinking, and if the central government is still here, then more structures will be built around here, and while the disparity of economy also happens, and moving the government into Kalimantan, for example, would help grow the economy and the infrastructure there.
Indonesia's president defends the decision, saying that this will lessen the burden on Jakarta, and saying the new region is less prone to earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes.
It will take a lot of money and economic resources, which after COVID-19 is a bit depleted, right? So I'm not super sure that the timing is correct with the economic status, I guess, that we're having right now.
The move of its capital was supposed to be funded by more than 80% of outside investors. One such investor was SoftBank, the Japanese conglomerate famous for investing in WeWork and ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. But SoftBank has recently pulled out of the project, and now the entire move is facing challenges, as investors have a hard time seeing the vision here.
The government has debt a lot already. We have to do the same thing again, so we have to borrow some money again, not some, a lot of money. And after that, we need to pay the new generation, especially like me.
So what happens next?
For the first time, we need to protect Jakarta first. We have to make big dam or big wall in the harbor, or we can make Ramasi Islands like that.
A giant seawall began construction in 2014 and is expected to finish in 2024, all at an estimated $40 billion cost. It includes artificial lagoons where water levels can be lowered and drained whenever it rains, and that's being supported by Dutch and South Korean governments.
The governments, they need to make a dam, the walls, the big walls, like in Holland, in Netherlands. The country is low and the water is high, so I think we can do the same thing like Netherlands. The country is low, but the water is high, so we have to make big walls.
I'm still holding on to the hope that somehow we can mitigate this.
But what happens to people when the land that they live on simply disappears?
Government has to smartly allocate a certain area as a social housing. Maybe in Jakarta, because it's too crowded and maybe the price of the land's already expensive because of the business growth and everything.
That is government duty, you know. So they have to move those people from the harbor or from the nearby the sea. So they have to move, find the right place.
And if there was a slowing of climate change, could that help things? Or is it too late?
Awareness is still very low, but I think a few government efforts has happened this past few years. Like we banned plastic bags here, so right now we have to bring our tote bags and things like that. So there is a reduction of plastic, even though it's not complete, of course. Unless the citizens care about an issue, the government might not really put their energy towards it, because this is a democracy, right? So yeah, I hope that more people know about this issue and help share about it more.